When they give you silence, give them space, not pursuit. Now, that's not just some passive statement. It's a strategic directive. Today, we're going to dissect one of the most powerful and frankly one of the most insidious forms of control in human dynamics: dominance through withdrawal. It's a total paradox, right? Where doing absolutely nothing becomes a weapon, where inaction creates more leverage than any heated argument ever could. This is the art of manufacturing emotional scarcity, making you pay a ridiculous price for something that should be free: connection, validation, clarity. This is the kind of thing that operates in the shadows of a relationship, a silent kind of coercion that leaves you feeling confused, anxious, and just desperate. So why is pulling away so incredibly potent? Because it hijacks our most fundamental, hardwired need for connection and twists it into a lever of control. In this explainer, we're going to expose the hidden mechanics of this entire system. We're going to map out the internal chaos it's designed to create. We'll dissect the machine of control it builds. We'll understand the deep psychological tricks that make it so effective. And then finally, we'll detail the precise countermoves you need to dismantle it. So let's start by looking at the internal chaos this system is built to create. Okay, to really get this, you first have to understand the internal chaos it engineers inside of you. This isn't just about feeling ignored. This is a full-blown assault on your psychological safety. The manipulator literally weaponizes your own mind against you, creating a very specific and painful internal crisis that pretty much forces you to act in their favor. It is, simply put, a state of manufactured panic. What you're feeling actually has a name: Relational Deficit Anxiety, or RDA. See, when connection is suddenly withdrawn, your brain's ancient attachment system, the one designed over millennia to keep you safe inside a social tribe, it sounds a massive alarm. Imagine this. You send a text about your day, and for 24 hours, you get nothing. Crickets. Now, your rational mind might try to say, oh, they're just busy, but your nervous system, it doesn't register a simple absence. It registers a direct threat of being abandoned, which our species evolved to see as a literal death sentence. And let me be clear, this isn't you overreacting. This is a hardwired panic response, a deep, primal fear of being cast out. Let's break down the physiological cost, because it's very real. First, that withdrawal triggers the alarm bell. The sudden lack of attention sends a jolt right through your nervous system. Second, the stress hormone cortisol floods your system. That tightening in your chest, the intrusive thoughts, the obsessive checking of your phone, the not being able to focus on anything else, yeah, that's cortisol. It's that feeling where you can't eat, you can't sleep, their silence just completely consumes you. And here's the trap. The manipulator knows that the only way to stop this physical pain is to close that gap. Chasing them, apologizing, offering to do anything, that provides immediate but very temporary relief. You're not acting rationally, you're just trying to remove a painful stimulus. And in doing so, you prove to them that their strategy works. This slide really gets to the heart of the asymmetry here. The twisted genius of this tactic is just how efficient it is. For the manipulator, the cost is incredibly low. They literally just have to do nothing. But for you, the target, the cost is insanely high. This is what we call the ambiguity advantage. By never saying what the problem is, the manipulator forces you into this constant loop of self-doubt. What did I do wrong? Was it that joke I made? Are they mad at me? Is this over? This massive cognitive load paralyzes your ability to think clearly, trapping you in a puzzle of your own making, while they expend zero energy. And this is exactly why people get stuck. The sunk cost fallacy. You look at the months, maybe the years, all the emotional energy you've already poured into this relationship, and the thought of it all just being for nothing feels unbearable. This plugs directly into loss aversion. Our brains are wired so that the pain of losing something feels twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something. So when they pull away, you don't cut your losses, you double down. You invest more effort, more pleading, more compromise, all to protect what you've already put in, chaining yourself even tighter to a dynamic that is actively destroying you.
Okay, so we've seen the internal damage, right? The anxiety engine they build inside your head. Now, let's zoom out and look at how this becomes a full-blown, deliberate system of control. This isn't random emotional behavior. It's a machine with predictable parts, all designed to systematically transfer power from you to them.
So here's the real leverage point. Your fundamental human need for certainty, for clarity. That is the very currency they are manipulating. They control the flow of information. They control the validation. By creating this deficit of certainty, they make you desperate for any crumb of it, and they get to set the price. You slowly become conditioned to find your emotional balance not from within yourself, but exclusively from them, the very source of your instability.
And this right here is the light bulb moment for the manipulator. The moment they realize that your attention, your focus, your entire emotional state can be commanded simply by their absence. They don't have to argue or persuade or demand anything. They just need to go silent. And in that silence, they achieve total dominance over your mental landscape. This is the moment the game changes, when they discover the incredible power of being the one who cares less.
And this is the engine that powers the whole system, the scarcity investment feedback loop. It's a perfect closed circuit. Here's how it works. Step 1, they withdraw, creating a scarcity of affection and attention. Step 2, your relational deficit anxiety goes through the roof, which makes you increase your investment to close that gap. You text more, you call more, you try to fix things. Step 3, your increased investment acts as a reward for their withdrawal. It tells them their tactic worked, and it reinforces their control. You are, in effect, teaching them exactly how to control you. And every single cycle just makes that loop stronger and your position weaker.
And where does all of this lead? It leads to something we call emotional gatekeeping. Your sense of peace, your stability, even your self-worth, it's no longer your own property. It's been completely outsourced. It's held behind a gate, and only the manipulator has the key. Your well-being becomes totally dependent on their mood, their presence, and their approval. This is the ultimate form of control, not through force, but by hijacking your autonomy from the inside out.
Okay, so we get the system, we see the mechanics. But the big question is, why does it work so damn well? Why do smart, capable people fall into this trap over and over again? Let's dive into the deep psychology that makes this whole system so potent.
Look, the most important thing to understand is that this has nothing to do with logic at all. This tactic bypasses rational thought entirely. It's a straight-up hijack of your brain's most primitive, powerful reward and survival pathways. It's weaponizing the very mechanisms designed to ensure our survival through social bonds just to ensure your compliance.
It really comes down to 3 core psychological triggers they're pulling. First, there's intermittent reinforcement. The manipulator doesn't stay distant forever. They give you these sporadic, unpredictable rewards, a sudden text, a moment of warmth. It's the exact same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. The sheer unpredictability of the reward creates the strongest possible conditioning. You just keep chasing, desperate for that next hit of affection. Second, loss aversion, which we touched on. That fear of losing everything you've invested is just a massive motivator that completely overrides logic. And third, the cognitive load. You're just mentally exhausted from trying to solve the puzzle of their silence, and that exhaustion drains your ability to make rational decisions, leaving you paralyzed and compliant.
All right, enough about the problem. We've diagnosed it, we've mapped the system, we get the psychology. Now for the most important part, the countermaneuver. How do you actually disarm the system and reclaim strategic control? It takes discipline, for sure, but the method is straightforward. The key, the absolute core of the countermaneuver, is something called the Investment Decoupling Protocol. Now, the name sounds a bit clinical, but the idea is simple and it is powerful. You must consciously and strategically decouple their withdrawal from your investment. You refuse to play their game. When they create scarcity, you have to break the feedback loop by refusing to increase your investment. This means no chasing, no pleading, no asking what's wrong. It is a disciplined act of strategic inaction, meeting their weapon with your own calm refusal to engage. So, how do you actually do this? First, you have to recognize the impulse. That anxious feeling, that overpowering urge to text them, that is your signal. That's the alarm bell telling you the game has started. Second, you must actively maintain your distance and refuse the chase. This is the hardest part, I know, because it goes against every instinct that anxiety engine creates. Third, you have to re-anchor your validation somewhere else. Call a friend, go crush a project at work, hit the gym. Actively get your sense of self-worth from sources you actually control. This weakens their status as your emotional gatekeeper. And the final step, well, it involves a very specific communication tactic.
And this brings us to strategic disclosure. The script is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. I notice you're distant. I'm going to give you space. Now let's break down why this is so effective. I notice calmly names the dynamic without any accusation. It shows you see the game board clearly. You're distant states a simple observable fact, and I'm going to give you space signals that you will not be chasing, and it completely flips the dynamic. It places the responsibility for closing that space back on them. With one calm sentence, you have just collapsed their ambiguity advantage and taken control of the entire frame. So as we wrap this up, let's distill this entire dynamic down to its core strategic takeaway. What is the one fundamental principle that protects you from this kind of manipulation and gives you the upper hand in pretty much any human dynamic? The core insight is this: volatility is your vulnerability. The entire strategy of dominance through withdrawal is designed to create emotional volatility inside of you, because your instability is their source of leverage. And therefore, your own emotional stability becomes your greatest shield and your most potent weapon. By refusing to let your internal state be dictated by their actions, you reclaim the ultimate power resource. You become, in a word, ungovernable. And that brings us right back to where we started. When they give you silence, give them space, not pursuit. This is no longer just a clever phrase, is it? It is now a complete strategic protocol. It's the recognition of the game, it's the refusal to play by their rules, and it is the reclamation of your own internal stability. And that is how you turn a weapon that was used against you into the very shield that sets you free.